Lawrence Bittaker and Roy Norris, also known as the Toolbox Killers, were a deadly duo who abducted, tortured, and murdered at least 5 teenage girls between June and October 1979. No strangers to the prison system, the duo displayed traits of sadism and psychopathy. They met at the California Men's Colony Prison in '77, discovering a common interest in sexual violence and misogyny. When alone, the pair discussed ideas to assault and murder teenage girls after they were released. This shared fantasy evolved into an elaborate plan. The pair vowed to become reacquainted once they were released. In order for the pair to abduct the girls, Bittaker decided they would need a van. Bittaker purchased a silver gray GMC van in '79. The pair would nickname this van Murder Mac. They would cruise around searching for vulnerable victims. Once they had a victim in their clutches, they would drive to a remote location where the unthinkable would take place. Their toolbox contained items like pliers, ice picks, and sledgehammers, which they used to sadistically torture their victims before ending their lives. As one of the bodies were discovered, a relentless investigation began. They were eventually arrested on November 20, 1979. In '81, Bittaker and Norris were found guilty of their crimes and sentenced to death. They both died in prison.
Ronald Dominique, aka the Bayou Strangler, was born on January 9, 1964, in Louisiana. Raised in poverty, he would often be bullied as a child for being poor or being overweight. He discovered he was gay after dropping out of university, frequenting several local gay bars, and at times, moonlighting as the singer Patti LaBelle. In 1996, a naked man jumped out of the window from Ronald's sister's house, where he was staying at the time. The man told the neighbors that Ronald had raped and attempted to kill him. Ronald was arrested, but the trial was dismissed after the prosecutor was unable to locate the alleged victim. Ronald's killing spree began a year after that. His victims were either men or gay men, luring them into his truck with the promise of alcohol, drugs, or group sex with a female who never existed. After convincing them, he would bring them into his trailer, where he would overpower them, bind them, then strangle them to death. In November 2006, Ronald came under suspicion after a man reported that Ronald had lured him into his trailer with an offer to share drugs and have sex with a girl. Ronald was questioned by police and agreed to donate a blood sample. His DNA matched to an elusive killer who left behind semen on some victims. On December 1st, 2006, Ronald was arrested at a homeless shelter. He confessed to 23 murders and was sentenced to 8 life terms. William Bonin, aka the Freeway Killer, was born on January 8, 1947, in Connecticut. Raised in a dysfunctional family, he experienced physical and emotional abuse. He was placed in juvie for petty crimes like theft, where he was molested by an adult counselor. Following his release, William began sexually fondling his younger brother and confessed to orally copulating younger boys. In the mid-60s, the family relocated to California. After dropping out of high school in 1966, William began luring and molesting several neighborhood children. Frequently worried he would be arrested, his mother evicted him from the house. In 1969, he was arrested by police, fitting the description of a serial rapist in the area. William was indicted on 5 counts of kidnapping and 4 counts of sodomy. 2 psychiatric examinations determined him to be a sexual psychopath who had little control over his impulses. He was released 5 years later. From 1979 to 1980, William continued to target teenage boys, often hitchhikers, luring them into his van. Once inside, they were subjected to acts of violence and torture. He was arrested and charged with the murders of at least 21 young men. He was executed by lethal injection in 1996, becoming the first person in California to be executed this way.